questions. I've been like, what kind of questions do I have? We can just roll and talk. It's funny because I'm like, I'm going to struggle to come up with questions when I can really just talk with her.
I wish I would have just pressed live right away. But then I also didn't want to, like, I don't know what kind of, stuff that you're, that went down with that. So I didn't want to necessarily say anything, but
yeah, let's do it, girl.
But now we know we should just have just a thing. We're just start. As soon as you get on, we're just going to go live. Whatever happens, happens. Yeah. Anyways, we are live now. Welcome to today's episode of Her Version, a podcast dedicated to hearing stories of struggle to triumph, a platform that allows individuals to tell their truth in order to inspire and uplift others. I am your host, Sabrina Victoria. If you are new to this podcast, make sure to follow, like, subscribe, and share. Today, we have an amazing guest speaker with us, Rebekah. Rebekah has slowly become a very good friend of mine. She is an MLM maniac, a loving mother, and is all about personal growth, optimism, and joy. And she's also recently engaged.
Woo! Does it sparkle on the camera?
Yes. So listen, you guys, for those of you that are joining us early in this podcast, Rebekah and I have literally just been talking for 20 minutes. And it was such an in-depth conversation. And literally every 5 minutes, I just kept looking at the clock and thinking, should I just go live while she's talking? Should I just go live? Because it was so inspirational listening to her speak all of the things. But you're engaged. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, something that, I was just telling you, something that I didn't know if it ever really would. I mean, it's a desire of, I think, every girl's heart, right? But I didn't know if it ever really would happen for someone like me, someone like me who came from the depths of hopelessness and despair. And as a single mom, I was telling you, I built this identity for the last 13 years of being a single mom and independent and strong. And I had this masculine energy because I could do it all by myself and I don't need anybody. And, and here I am, and I'm super, super happy and grateful to be entering into a partnership and soon a marriage with a man who I get to allow to have the masculine energy. Yeah. And I can maintain that in other areas of my life, but it's such
Has that been a struggle for you?
Oh my goodness. Well, I've been very aware and conscious of it the entire time. So luckily, I dive into personal development all the time. I'm always listening to personal development. And so there was something said along those lines, and it really resonated with me. I have a masculine energy in everything that I do. And I think that's how it was said. And it just hit me wow, I get people, I don't know, maybe you do also. I have people that will tell me that I'm intimidating, yeah. You're intimidating. And it's just this energy that I come off with is just powerhouse and strong. And, and it's not always like that. When the camera's off and and everything's, down, I'm pretty quiet, really. Mm-hmm. If there's an event going on, I like to sit in the corner and people watch instead of being the center of attention. For a long time, when I was active in my addiction, I had to be the center of attention. I struggled to get attention all the time. And now it's kind of the opposite. I don't want the focus on me. So, but in business, it works for me. In parenting, I'm the mom. I've been the mom and the dad, mm-hmm. And so it's just something that a role that I've taken on. So entering into this relationship, I knew that was an area I was going to have to work on. And so sometimes work looks like doing less, which is crazy, right? So sometimes for me, I have to be able to sit back and let somebody else make decisions, sit back and let somebody else call the shots, sit back, still have my own opinion, be my own individual. Absolutely. Share what my opinions are, share, what my perspective is. However, not always be the one running the show, in control, wearing the pants,
100%. It's crazy how much you and I are alike, because I could have said all of that myself. It's exactly the same, for real. Exactly the same. And trying to find the trying to find the balance between your masculine energy and your feminine energy within a relationship can be challenging when you've been doing it on your own for so long. So I totally understand what you're,
and when you're in business together, you get it.
Yeah. 100. Dude, for real.
Like, I'm your coach, I'm your leader. Now you have to listen. Now we switch. Now roles reverse, honey.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because you're same as me. Because you're above. So it's literally.
Well, I mean, we're all.
Well, you know what I mean, though.
Right.
You're the teacher.
I do the trainings. I do the coaching. I do the, you know what I mean? Only because I've been around longer and I've had more conversations and I've done more things. I've had more failures, so to speak, trials that I've walked through and I've found solutions. So I share those things with my team and he is a part of the team, which is great. I love it. I love it.
That's awesome. Well, I'm so happy for you. Can you tell everyone where it happened?
Yes. So Jesse came to New Hampshire and my house in New Hampshire is in Guilford and his family's from Guilford, and right up the road in Alton is a mountain called Mount Major. Sorry, I'm losing Mount Kilimanjaro. No, I'm just kidding. It wasn't that one at all. It was Mount Major. It felt like we were climbing Mount Kilimanjaro today. It was hot. It was buggy. It was sweaty, but we climbed the mountain with his mom and his brother. And I'll be honest with you, like every step of the way, I was thinking about how climbing a mountain is such like a parable for life, right? And the struggles and the challenges and the different techniques you have to use to get up the rocks, or the different situations. Like it was hot and sunny that day. There were bugs out, you know, the different things that you had to walk through. And as you get higher and higher and you continue to persevere, you see more of this beautiful view, right? Yeah. And at the top, you get this overwhelming sense of reward. And at the top, I got much more than just a view. He goes, why don't you, hey, come over here, take a picture with me. I said, okay. His brother's got the camera. His mom's got a camera. And you know, we're taking pictures. I'm like, am I in the right spot? I don't know. And, you know, I'm trying to make sure they can see the view behind us to take the pictures. And then he drops to a knee and he says, well, we made it to the top of a mountain. That's what he says. I said, yes, we did. He goes, I want to climb many more mountains with you, be centered with you, and I want to build the kingdom of God with you forever. And I was like, I said, for the rest of my life. And I think I said, yes, please. Yes, please.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, amazing. And then he, you know, presented me with this ring, and I was saying that you can plant, you know, as a woman, you look at rings and you look at styles and you look at the metals and the cuts and everything for years. And so no ring could ever compare. This is his great-great-great-grandmother's ring.
Wow.
And he received it in 1893. So what an honor. Again, like, for someone like me who, you know, my truth is this, is that I used to lie, cheat, steal, and rob people. Like, that's what I used to do. I used to do that all the time to get what I wanted when I wanted it, you know? And so to be given this gift of honor to carry down this tradition for this family, like, it's just mind blowing.
That's awesome. And it's all about just changing your mindset, your mindset.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So, I mean, I come from that, and it worked until it didn't work anymore. You know, I was not getting what I wanted when I wanted it any longer. And so, I had to change my mindset. And as far as like knowing that I'm worthy and deserving of something like this, it's really taking a look at like the last 6 years of what my actions and behaviors are. They are completely far from that, you know, but my sick mind will try to tell me that's still who I am. Right. And so shedding that identity as well, which is another reason we've talked before about, like, I don't speak that I'm an alcoholic any longer. Like, I haven't put a drop of alcohol in my system for almost 6 years, you know? So like, that is not something that I don't even struggle with it. Like, it's been completely removed, and I'm healed. And I thank the Lord for that on a daily basis, And so same with all, like lying, cheating, and stealing, like it can sneak back in for sure. And if I'm not careful, like if I'm hanging around in the bars when it's, what is it? I don't even know what it's called anymore. Happy hour.
Oh.
I don't even know what it's called. When it's happy hour and everybody's clinking and cheersing and the sparkles and the lights. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like if I do that enough, then I'm going to probably end up being like, I want happy hour too, but I choose to claim healing and strength and love and all of these things over myself. And I know that like those behaviors have nothing to do with who I am today. And so, it's changing the mind. Really, it starts with the mind making that conscious choice to leave behind those things that I thought were going to give me, like, alcohol and all of those behaviors promise you all of these things, but yet being free from them is really where you find all of that.
Exactly. It's crazy. It's crazy. People don't realize.
It's not talked about enough.
I know.
It's just not talked about enough.
That's what I'm trying to do. Is
they romanticize the drinks and the bars and the, everything. It's wild how much it's turn on the TV. You're going to see some kind of ad. Drive down the street. You're going to see it all plastered on a truck. Go into the grocery store. You're going to see it on the end caps of the fruit. Like the fruit aisle, there's booze at the end caps of the fruit aisle, like, why don't we, put some healthy stuff there, some lettuce and some, celery juice or some, I don't know, ketones or something, some of your shakes, whatever we got, let's put it there. Replace it.
Speaking of ketones, can you tell everyone what you do?
Absolutely. Yes, I am a network marketing professional. I work with a biohacking company. We hack the body into ketosis in 59 minutes or less with a drink, not the diet, which is really fun for me because I have a background in fitness and nutrition, certified personal trainer and sports nutritionist. And I dieted and exercised my way from 230 pounds down to 140 pounds. And became a slave to diet and exercise. And so this little tool that we have, ketones, it's a beautiful colored packet that you just pour into water, shake it up, drink it, has also helped me find freedom from having to be a slave to diet and exercise. I still want to have the benefits of, the keto diet, which is better mood, focus, energy, fat loss, muscle preservation, better sleep, better skin, better digestion. However, I don't want to have to be super, super strict and not eat carbs and weigh and track and measure and log everything. Like took up so much time and effort and energy. So now I get to drink them and enjoy myself. And I help other people do the same thing as well. We have a whole community of people who are becoming debt-free, who have found either a side income or a full-time income doing what we're doing by just forging a way to better.
100%. I love that. And I love the more and more that I am bringing guests on to the Her Version platform, the more MLM women that I am meeting. And, the negative connotation that goes along with it sometimes is frustrating because there are so many individuals, men and women, who are benefiting from the financial upside of it, and really, being able to stay at home, being able to be with their kids, homeschool. It really does make an impact for so many people. And a lot of times this negativity, as far as it not bringing in money, as far as it not, doing everything that is promised, there's so many individuals that have the exact opposite real life example of that. And you're one of those people. So.
Oh, for sure. Especially with the pandemic we just went through, people lost their entire income. What else are you going to do? And so you can have one mindset of it's a bad thing and I'm never going to try it. Or you can say, what do I have to lose? That's what I said in November of 2018. I had my fitness business. I was working it. However, around Christmas time, people don't want to buy personal training packages. They're spending money on holiday gifts and things like that. And then they're going and eating holiday food at the parties, So after the new year, well, my bills don't wait till after the new year. I'm sorry. And so I was already an entrepreneur. I had a business. I have, background and training and skills. But then I found myself in a place where there was more money going out than there was coming in. And I'm a pretty frugal person. Like, I don't call myself cheap, but I'm an inexpensive liver. Like, I do it on purpose,
Yeah.
And so to not have enough money to cover my bills, I ran out of heating fuel in my house in New Hampshire with my son, and we were freezing. And so somebody again said to me, hey, there's an opportunity to make money here if you want it. And I said, yes. I said, what do I have to lose? And I decided to just give it a shot. Just give it a chance. Just give it a shot. What do you have to lose? So it doesn't work and you say, fine, no, it didn't work for me. Okay, cool. But like, what if it does work for you? And so it did work for me. And I no income claims, but there were bonuses and things in structure and in place that I was able to bring in $3,000. And so I was able to provide for my son to have a Christmas, put heating fuel in my house, put food on the table, and make it through till after the new year when everyone was buying personal training again. So it changed my life. And now I bring in quadruple the amount of what my cost of living is every month. And then some. I've earned a free car, a luxury vehicle from the company, up to $800 toward a car payment. Like, it's life-changing. It is, if you're open to it.
Yeah.
Again, it's being open to receiving.
100%. 100%. I love that. And I love everything you do. And I love everything you stand for. So we're going to start.
Yeah, let's go.
So we're doing our 3x3 power talk today. For those of you that did not see our first one, basically we both have prepared 3 questions. We have no idea what the questions are. And we alter. Do you want to go first this time?
Oh my gosh, you're going to put me on the spot. Sure. Yes, we'll go first.
I'm like nervous. Okay. I thought about it, but I'm like, we got to be fair.
Oh, I don't care. You can go first if you want to.
You go.
Okay. So you've shared with me a little bit about your walk in faith.
Yeah.
And so I'm curious as to what your beliefs are today and why.
Got it. Okay. So I believe in a higher power. I believe that what the earth is, what the world is, what the universe is, it's silly to think that it just came to be. However, with that being said, my thought process is that the humans here on earth have used their wonderful imaginations to embellish and to exaggerate stories to give humans hope. I believe that humans live off hope. They love hope. I believe humans are afraid of death. I believe that in general, not necessarily you, just in general, humans are afraid of death. And in order to alleviate the pain of what that may or may not be, scholars back in the day created a beautiful line of storytelling to be able to ease the hearts and the minds of us as humans. What God is and who God is and what he stands for, I believe is love. I believe is unconditional love. And what I see in the churches today, not all of them, but in a lot of them, is not unconditional love. And that frustrates me. So I do not go to any sort of church. I do not go to any sort of meetings where a man is making rules according to what he is perceiving the stories or the Bible to depict, because it's all different. And but I believe that God is, the higher power is around us. I believe that he guides us. I believe that he supports us and shows us in ways that are uncomprehendable to us as to the path that we're supposed to be taken. And as long as we do the next right thing, as long as we're doing what is in our hearts to be doing, that the path will be laid out accordingly. But I don't claim to believe that I know everything. I don't claim to believe that I know the truth. I don't claim to believe that what I am saying right now, or what I think tomorrow, or what I thought last month is true, because nobody knows. Nobody knows. And I think that for me to sit and to proclaim or to teach or to preach is I don't want to say selfish, because it's not selfish, but it's kind of like not fair. It's not fair. It's not, who am I? Who am I to say that the words and the thoughts and the way that I am perceiving the higher power is correct, and that people should believe what I believe? Because I don't know any more than you or than the next person. And even people that have studied forever, there's hundreds of people that have studied the Bible forever, and they still contradict each other. So, I have a hard time sticking with anything, because I have love for everyone. I have love for all of humankind. The frustration I see with gays and lesbians, with trans, with, as you had stated earlier, last time we talked, people with church hurt, which is how you identified me, which is fine. But where do you navigate that? How do you tell somebody that, this is the way that it should be, one way or another, with any of those things? And to sit here and to say that I know the answer, and this is definitively the answer, it's not fair. I kind of view it as people who debate abortions. Like, how do you debate abortions? Like, woman has the right to have an abortion because it's her body. But then, does a man have the right to not pay child support if he doesn't want the baby? Do you know what I mean? Like, who's right in that situation? I believe that the man should have to pay. But then we also have women that are aborting babies when the man wants the baby. So why is it the man never has a say, and the man has to stand up to whatever the woman says every single time? But then he doesn't have, like, how do you argue that?
Yeah.
How do you argue that? So, I believe in my heart that God's in my heart. I believe that he guides me, or I believe that he or she or whatever it is has good intentions for me. And as long as I do what I'm supposed to be doing, as long as I am following my passions, putting love into the universe, that I will be guided appropriately.
I love that.
Very long-winded.
It was in depth, though. That was good. And I think that everyone deserves to have, just like you said, their own belief system, and each of us have our own spirit and our own perspective, and no two people see things the same. I could see, a green flower as like a sage green, and you could see it as hunter green. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many different ways to see things. And what I heard was, we are, like, from hearing you speak, it was, we are so finite. And whatever God is, whoever God is so infinite that like we cannot begin to wrap our brains around it. Like even the smallest fraction, you know?
And I believe that where people are when it comes to their faith is where people are, and you should allow them to sit where they are, whether it's fully embraced in God and Jesus and the Holy Spirit and what religion is, or, you know, just outside of that, or atheist or agnostic, like allowing people just to be, because in actuality, your views on how the earth came to be does not interfere with how I view the earth to be.
Right.
Nothing about you and I should conflict because of how we believe it came to be. It doesn't make any sense to push agendas. Now, to do your own research, you know, to have it out there so other people can hear and form their own opinions, that makes sense. But to actually argue about stuff like that is absolutely ridiculous, and it will be a forever argument. I don't like to do forever arguments.
No, I prefer to just say, I'll pray for you. It's fine.
I'd rather just start it with like, let's just agree to disagree. And then that's it, like 30 seconds. That's it.
Yeah.
Because if I wanted to change my viewpoint on it, then I would dig in deeper and I would realize that and come to my own conclusion on that, you know? So.
Yeah, I think it takes a lot of, being education, like educating. And like you said, even people who study to individuals that study, still study and have a different perspective and view. Right. And so, and I think also like when sharing upon faith and beliefs and things, the human who is speaking as they're sharing is responsible to let people know that I am just a human being. I'm just like you. You're just like me. I'm just sharing what has been revealed to me personally. Like it's each individual has to have their own individual walk, you know?
100%. 100%. And the, you know, yes, I agree with that. Yeah, it's just that conversation is so infinite, and the thing that's frustrating to me, talking to individuals about it, is it can go on forever. And I love speaking about religion. I have had so many in-depth conversations about religion, and it's one of my favorites to talk about. The frustrating part for me is when people start getting defensive about their faith because of, you know, something that is being said, or a light that may, you know, have come to bay during the conversation, and then all of a sudden needing to argue. And that's where the frustration comes from. Is I love to speak about religion like for hours. I could go on about it for hours, and I am open to everything that anybody says about religion, because like I said, I don't know. So if you have something that makes sense to you and you want to have a discussion about it, not an argument about it, I'm 100% open to all of the things, all of it. But where the frustration comes from is when it's pushed upon you, when it's, you know, when it's like, okay, the conversation's good, you've reiterated a few times, can we now please go have a sandwich? You know, once it starts getting past the point of like, hey, did you know, versus you should, you know, that's where the frustration really comes to bay. And unfortunately, religion and politics, a lot of times there's not ever a correct answer because of the difference in thought process with that. So it can get frustrating at times.
Well,
but it honestly is. I have no problem talking about it. I love talking about it / you know, debating about it if it's done in a loving way. You know,
right. Well, that's what I was going to say. It takes a high level of communication, and not everyone. I mean, you and I both have spent countless hours of developing ourselves, you know, so we can have a high level of communication in a conversation like that, where we might not agree, we might not see eye to eye, and it's not going to affect our friendship, or it's not going to, you know what I mean? It's you're entitled to, I'm entitled to, and we can come together and discuss it, you know, but there's so many people who don't have the equipping to have those kind of conversations that are going out, and it causes mayhem, and it causes more destruction than it does good. And, you know, and that's something that I've also had to realize is timing is everything, right? And when is an okay time to have a conversation with somebody about something? Are they open to receiving it? Are they open to talking about it? If not, why am I going to go and try and weasel my way in? And that's with anything, with recovery, sobriety, you know, God, faith, religion, you know, healthy eating, whatever, talking to somebody about their smoking, anything that could be controversial. Like, you have to make sure that they're open. Are you open to receiving it? Are you open to having a conversation about it? And sometimes I ask permission before I go into it.
Yeah.
Ask the permission before having the conversation. Just started pouring. Is it pouring where you are?
Yes, same. Yeah. Yeah. I almost did this outside, and
I almost did too.
Yeah. About 5 minutes into us talking, it just starts thundering and lightning out. I'm like, thank goodness I did this inside. But anyways, I could go on and on. So
get your turn. Oh, boy, here we go.
We'll save the rest of that for another day.
I know. Schedule another time. Here we go.
that was like such a light fluff of just my thoughts that it's almost frustrating for me, because I could just keep going. But that is what it is. Okay, my question is, because you're just recently engaged.
No.
So what do you think are the best reasons and worst reasons for getting married?
The best reasons and the worst reasons. Oh, how many do I get to have?
Until you are exhausted.
Get the list. Yeah.
Now you know how I feel with the religion thing.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, it all relates for me, honestly. So my life is completely Christ-centered to the best of my ability. I will say that, because, again, we're speaking truth here, and I am a human being. So at times I can be very ego-centered, or, you know, materialistic-centered or worldly-centered. However, through the years of developing myself, I've found that my life is best when I start it and maintain it centered on Christ. And so I have been from a sexually abused child from 8 to 12 to completely promiscuous all through my teenage years, to being a teen mom, to being a single mom, to not knowing if I ever would have a family, not knowing if I would ever end up married, and, you know, just going into relationships that I had no business being in, sleeping around with people, you know, all kinds of things, right? And so, and this is really cool that you're bringing this up, because, like I said, the Lord has revealed to me that, like, I am on this path for a reason, and it's to help other individuals know that no matter where you come from, no matter what you've done, you can be forgiven and healed. And from that, once you are open to making that choice to receive the healing, and to know that you are worthy and deserving, like, you can move forward and find a partnership. And so what that means to me is, my number one thing is that finding someone who had the same belief system as I did. I called it a manifestation list for years. capital MAN, manifestation, my man, right? And so there were things on there. Let me tell you, when I started that list, it was things like had a license and had a car, or didn't live in a sober house, like had their own place to live, had a job, because those are the type of people who I felt worthy and deserving of.
Yeah.
And so I started it like that. And then, it added, loves God, right? Goes to church. And I added those things. And then the Lord gave me a guy that said he loved God. And it was very, yes, manifestation. I love it. Very posted about God and talked about God. However, again, I believe it's an intimate thing. It's a journey that has to come from the heart. And so he didn't have a connection with a God of his understanding, a higher power. It was very worldly. Went to church on Sundays to take pictures of his outfit and post it. And so I had to really get specific. About exactly what it was, who I saw a future with, right? And not like, if I could have had a picture of Jesse, I would have. It's fine. It's fine. My little secret truth is that after I met him in December 2019, I made a vision board in the beginning of 2020, and his signs on Virgo and like a ring and like finding a man with and I look back today and I'm like, whoa, like that manifestation.
Wow.
Okay, manifestation. So being really specific about what it is that you want, whether it's someone whose belief aligns with yours. For me, it's someone who has an intimate relationship with Christ, who lives by biblical principles, loves others, is, selfless, and is honoring to others. Honor is a huge thing. Honor and respect is a huge thing. Like, how do you honor your significant other, right? And that means, his love languages and mine are very different. So honoring that and ensuring that I am loving him in the way that he can receive it, right? And respecting him in the way that, his thought process and his personality is very different than mine, and giving him that space, right? Like creating space for him to be him. And so, and then he, on the flip side, is very patient with me. Like, patience is huge, right? And so the question is, what top reasons to get married? Oh man, you find your partner for life. Like, and that's all preceding, right? Like, get real specific about what exactly it is that you want in your life, who exactly that partner is. But like, you have your partner for life. We were walking on the beach yesterday morning and I did a slow-mo video of us. And I said, man, it looks like we're going into battle. He goes, we are. Like, we're walking on the beach hand in hand. The two of us are just so serious. And then we turn and kiss each other. And it just looks like the two of us can take on the world together, right? And so I never have to seek or search or wonder again, right? And so that's one thing. Marriage to me is a very sacred thing. My grandmother was married to my grandfather. They were divorced after 5 children, and she never dated or remarried again. And I believe that has affected my perspective on the Institute of Marriage, right? And so it's a very sacred thing. Like, I personally want to get married to my one person, right? I believe that there is someone who's tailor-made for each of us. I believe that. Do I believe people get married to the wrong person or somebody who isn't tailor-made for them, and it works for a while and then it doesn't and divorce happens? Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. I was married to drugs and alcohol for a long time. And then it worked for a while and then it didn't. And I had to divorce it, right? Like things happen.
Yeah.
That happens. I believe that marriage is something that it's a commitment that a lot of people don't necessarily like commitment these days. I find a lot of people run from commitment. They don't know how to handle commitment. They don't know what to do with commitment. They feel locked down, or like commitment's a bad thing, right? And so I think that marriage gives you a space to enjoy commitment in knowing that it's a two-way street, right? It's a two-way street. And with another individual who you trust, you love unconditionally, right? And so marriage as a commitment is huge for me. I think that everyone should get to experience that. Mm-hmm. Everyone should get to experience a true commitment with another human being on such an intimate level, right? And that's another reason for marriage is intimacy. Come on, people. Mm-hmm. You said, like you told me, I don't know if this was when we were recording or not, but love language is physical touch. Yeah. Like intimacy is huge for human beings. We are created for that. Yeah. We're created for that. Yeah. And so marriage with another individual gives us that commitment level, knowing that that individual and I can be intimate with one another physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, without being worried about other people. I mean, yes, again, just because you're married doesn't mean that the mind won't lust over other things, or that individual won't make choices that are outside of that commitment, right?
100%, yeah.
But like having that intimacy with another, I am so excited for it. This is live. Oh, here we go. Listen, we're counting down the days, minutes, and hours, baby. It's fine. It's fine.
Did you guys set a date?
Yes. So August 13th. Yep. Up in New Hampshire. So we're just under 2 months now. So it's crunch time. It's fine though, because everything's been so laid out for me. So yeah. So those are my top reasons, like finding your life battle partner, right? Battle buddy who will lift you up when you're down, who you can help lift up, and who you can walk side by side with into anything that life throws at you. And you know that you two are going to stand firm together, right? Mm-hmm. And number 2 is like the commitment that you get to experience together, right? That commitment level that you don't have to fear, that you're coming together as one, right? And the intimacy, like we all deserve that. We deserve to have a level of intimacy with a single other human being that you don't share with anyone else in the world. Like that you don't share. I mean, I'm a very open person. My life is plastered all over every social media platform. At Becca the Recca. If you want to go find me, go ahead, add me, follow me, whatever. But it's everywhere, except for the intimacy between Jesse and I. And it's a beautiful thing to have that. It's sacred. And then reasons not to get married, right? Or the worst reasons to get married. Oh my goodness. The worst reasons to get married is money. I say money.
Yeah.
Don't just do it for the money. You can go make your own money. Go. You deserve that. Every single one of us is born with the birthright of abundance. Yep. So go get what's yours, honey. If you're watching this, go get what's yours. Start today. It's never too late, right? Mm-hmm. So if you're getting married for the money does not buy happiness. It doesn't.
Yep.
Like you need to be happy and confident and secure in self first, so don't just do it for the money. I mean, I was engaged prior to my son's father, and we were going to get married for the kids. Like, if there's no connection between the parents,
Yep.
I mean, anything can happen, right? Anything can happen. Maybe getting married for the kids turns out to be a beautiful marriage because you realize that you are sharing this partnership of raising this child. I don't know, right?
Yeah.
Again, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, and everyone's different. However, I have seen many, many people stick around in marriages or get married for the kids and lose themselves completely.
100%.
And that's devastating.
Yeah.
Like it's tragic and devastating, because if you ever decide to step out of that, you have no idea who you are, what your purpose is, what you should be doing in life, what you're worthy or deserving of, right?
Yep.
Like, why? So, I mean, again, like, it comes down to what your individual beliefs are and specifics of what you want in life, right? Like the specifics. And I can't stress that enough. Get specific, get into the dirty details of what you want, like, and put it on paper, y'all. Like, write that down.
Yeah, they say that. They say that 100%. Yep.
Yep. Yeah.
And what you focus on is where, what is it? Where your focus goes, energy flows.
That's right. That's right. And my truth is, I made that vision board and stuck it somewhere that I didn't even look at it, but my intention was there.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I set the intention for exactly what I wanted, not even thinking or believing that it could come true.
Yep.
And a year and almost a half later, after trials and error and some hurt and some, you know what I mean? Both of us have hurt each other throughout the years, and forgiveness and coming to a place of understanding and trust and love. Like, here it is. My vision board is real.
That's so cool.
It's amazing.
That's so
all right. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. So, if you could change one thing about your upbringing, what would it be?
If I could change one thing about my upbringing, what would it be? Something did come to mind, and I'm just going to go with this, even though it's not necessarily the question you asked. So I honestly wouldn't change any of it. You know, I have a lot, as most people do, that I dealt with. But I believe 100% that everything that happened is my strength today. 100%. If anything would have gone any differently, I would not be the person that I am today. And the things that I am building, the empire that I am working on, would not exist. And that would be unfortunate. That would be unfortunate for everyone involved. And all the individuals that we are helping and encouraging and inspiring so far, all the way into the future. So I would not change anything. But however, what came to mind was, I wish I was nicer to my sister.
Oh, my heart.
I wish I was nicer to my sister. So my sister is 2.5, almost 3 years younger than me. And every Monday, I read from my old journals. So I sit on live, just like you and I are here, and I read for an hour in chronological order my journals from right now. I'm 12 or 13, 14 years old, and I'm reading through chronologically my daily journals that I was writing when I was that young. My boy crushes and mad at my mom or whatever. And the reason I'm doing it is because living a minimalist lifestyle, shedding all of the stuff. And one of the biggest things that is weighing me down physically is all of my journals, all of my poetry, all of the letters. I've got boxes and boxes of paper with my life all over it. And I'm having a hard time figuring out what I'm doing with it. Do I toss it? Do I keep it? Do I sell it? Do I burn it? Just throw it in the dump, and it's my life. It's my life. And I'm having a really hard time parting with it, even though I want to physically rid it off of my shoulders. So I just came up with this idea that I'm just every Monday, for the duration of however long it takes, I'm going to go through every piece of everything in chronological order. And I'm realizing that I wasn't very nice to my sister. I wasn't very nice to my sister. Obviously, we fought. Obviously, we we're brother and sister, or we're sisters. We had our arguments, but I'm noticing, and this kind of goes along with the first question you asked me, which that's interesting, but the judgment, the religious judgment I put on my sister when I was like 12 and 13 years old is so rude. It is so rude. Jehovah, being a Jehovah's Witness, God is Jehovah. And there was a lot of like, Jehovah wouldn't approve of what my sister is doing. Jehovah is mad at my sister. God does not like that my sister did this. And so much drama in my thoughts as far as me being holier than, or better than, or smarter religiously than my sister was heavy. It was heavy. And the arguments that I'm writing about, and that's coming back up, like I'm remembering, like, oh my gosh, I freaking forgot about that. What is sad to me. It's sad to me. It's sad that, and what's funny is my sister is now the religious one. She is now the one who goes to church, and her kids, and they get dressed up and they go and they do all of the things. And now here I am, the exact and there, like I remember this one part in my journal where we were at Home Depot, and my sister, apparently, I wrote this whole thing out. Like, this is how judgmental I was at this point in my life, feeling like I was godly. I wrote whole scenarios. I wrote whole scenarios out, but the one that sticks in me the most is we were at Home Depot with my family, and my sister, we were buying light bulbs, like the long light bulbs, fluorescent. And apparently my sister had it on the ground, and she was like grinding on it. Like she was 9, you know what I mean? She was 9 years old. But she was grinding on it like she was having sex with it. But like funny, like we're innocent children. We're completely Christian. I'm sure she wasn't like making out with it or something. But in my journal writings, I'm like, she was grinding on it inappropriately. And God views this as so disgusting. I hope that she knows that her doom is coming if she keeps on, living her life like this. Like, so, and then I wrote in there, I'm like, I did not talk to my sister for the rest of the day, and I ignored her because I don't want to be part of her worldly thinking or something like that. Like, what?
Yeah.
Wow. We're 12 years old, and it saddens me that, and it wasn't just religion. There was a lot of things that we argued about, like all sisters do. I'm mad at my sister today. My sister did this. But I feel bad. And I don't know if it made an impact on her. I haven't like talked to her about it, since I've been doing this. But there, I was we argued a lot, and I was mad at her a lot, and I used my bigger sister, authoritative, being an older sister, against her a lot more than I wish I had. A lot more than I wish I had. And to go along with that, I might as well just add this part in too, which my sister does know this. I actually told her about this, but since we're talking about it, might as well be open because this might help somebody. So I dealt with a lot when I got pregnant. So I got pregnant at 20 and removed myself from my parents' house. And I was completely cut off, absolutely zero association with my entire family, including my sister. And at that point in my life, I was 20, my sister was 17. We were really close at that point. We were hanging out, we were going out together with friends and dinner and this and that and the other thing. And we were actually like really good friends at that point in my life. I got pregnant from one day, everything was good and happy and fine and best friends. We just hung out the weekend before. Then it came out of the bag that I was 4 months pregnant, and the whole thing just disappeared. The whole thing disappeared. And because of that, after that, my sister got married immediately. My sister got married at 18 to a guy. And that's a whole nother story that I'm not going to get into because that's her story. But I held a lot of guilt for my action of getting pregnant and leaving because I felt as if if I would have been there, then she wouldn't have felt the need to like connect to somebody. And early on, so naive, so like unworldly, not knowing, had like never kissed a boy before. I could have like saved her. I could have been there for her. And I feel as if the reason she got caught up in that was because I wasn't there to be her friend, And she fell into the arms of this other person who was her friend. And I held a lot of guilt. And I talked to her about this years later, where I didn't feel my sister had done everything right. She was Christian. She read the Bible. She was doing ministry. She was dressing conservatively. She had never kissed a boy before. Meanwhile, me, on the other hand, was like a freaking crazy, ridiculous person religiously. And she got wrapped up into this whirlwind of what was her life. And I was having a hard time and holding a lot of guilt with feeling comfortable being happy, feeling comfortable in a good relationship, feeling comfortable moving on with my life in a happy way, because I was holding guilt of what she had done in her life. And, working through the process of shedding that, working through the process of forgiving myself and realizing that everyone makes their own decisions and her decision is her decision and it shouldn't be based on my decision, and being okay with that, and knowing that she can also still make decisions just like I can make decisions. But it took a long time. It took a long time for me to feel good about being happy. About being happy. Yeah. Because of me feeling like I wasn't there for her.
The word came abandoned is what it sounds like. You felt like you abandoned her.
Yeah.
However, we all have our own journeys.
Yeah.
Every one of us.
Yeah. 100%.
Thankfully.
Yeah. 100%. And, and I had to, and have felt more comfortable being good and happy and pure and authentic in my life without the heaviness of I shouldn't be because. Yeah. And it's been a journey for me. It's been a journey for me to get to the point where I'm at now. And kind of similar to what I was talking about earlier with you before we even came on, that was part of my process as far as being comfortable showing my love. That was some of the heaviness that I felt is that, social media and being comfortable showing that, because because of that, that was part of the issue, that I had, not only in real life amongst people, but in real life on social media, proclaiming it, even though, the other situation is different.
Well, I'm going to give you an encouraging word to never stop sharing that, because we all need to see y'all doing your unicycle walks and catching iguanas, and you guys are just the sweetest, and the world needs more love. And sometimes it's just by sharing it on social media that motivates and inspires others to have a shift in their spirit to love others. So and some people don't get to experience that ever. Ever. So what a gift, and giving it back to the world by sharing it out loud, unapologetically, is amazing. Amazing.
And then that's part of, the journey that I'm taking, with platforms like this, as far as, allowing people to speak their truth, because a lot of times individuals are so caught up in their story and so caught up in their nightmare on earth, or their hell on earth, that they don't believe that anything else is possible. They don't believe that they can ever, like what you were saying, they can ever go from this to that. And the story can't flip on its back. And it very well can. It very well 100% can. You can.
We are living proof.
Yeah.
The two of us.
That's the thing. That's
what
the
a powerhouse.
Yeah. That's the thing. And the whole stereotype of all the good ones are gone and all the nice guys finish last and all that mumbo jumbo that so many women love to say is false.
Well, it's playing a victim role.
It's absolutely false.
It's living in the victim. Oh, all the good ones are gone. Poor me. Poor me.
Yeah.
And
it's living in the identity of that. So.
Yay. That was deep. Deep.
Am I up?
I think so. Yeah.
Hey, I don't want to cut you off though. Are you fine with time?
I got about 20 minutes.
Okay. So we have to keep that in mind. Do you remember the worst rejection you ever felt? What happened?
Are you getting these questions from somebody? Are they sending you these questions? Do I remember the worst rejection? Is that what the question is? And
the worst rejection you ever felt and what happened?
The worst rejection I ever felt and what happened. Okay. Rejection. I don't know if it's necessarily rejection. I remember, so I was working and I was challenged as a single mom to, I didn't have family around me to help with childcare. I was challenged to make it work. whatever it was, right? And so I had finally landed myself in a position where I had a salary paid job, which was like amazing, right? Desk job, Monday through Friday. I think it was 9 to 5 or 8:30 to 5 or something like that. And so I had been programmed all throughout my life that like I didn't go to college. I went to college for one semester, failed, and was pregnant. So like I didn't have a degree. I didn't have anything like that. So this was like, oh my gosh, the American dream job. Like you have mother's hours, you know, you can bring your son to daycare and he can go to after school program and you have a salary. Like, wow, you have arrived, right? And so it was in real estate. I worked in real estate with rental properties for a long time. And then they opened up another division of work that was a property management company. And so this just stands out to me so much. And I don't know if this is the worst. I mean, there's been so many trials and tough times in my life that I've walked through, but this is just a very profound one because I remember the shift that happened from it, right? And so I started this property management company with them from the ground up. They asked me to be the office coordinator. So I created all of the systems. I created all the paperwork, everything, right? And so they came by my desk on a Thursday afternoon and they were like, oh my gosh, like the business was thriving. And they're like, oh my gosh, we don't realize how much you really do for this company. And like, we don't know where we would be without you. And they like gave me like a, this pat on the back. And I was like, man, like this is good. And I felt so good. And then come Sunday, I received a text message from a broker at the office. And it said, we're choosing to part ways with you and we no longer have space for you at the office. And just like that, like this build up, you're doing great. And the hardest thing for me was I was like, oh my gosh, I just finally arrived in a place where I didn't think I was going to have to struggle anymore. I felt confident going into paying my bills, being able to provide for my son. I felt so good. Like I had arrived, I had made something of myself, right? And then that was stripped from me. It was stripped from me, that just the rug pulled right out from underneath me. And it was one of the best things that ever happened to me because I had such a sense of security in a job working, building somebody else's dreams. And I am not here to speak poorly about employees or employers. I mean, we need you guys. We need you for the economy. We need you for all of that, right? However, for me, I'm a better entrepreneur. And so it made me shift. I had also at the same time started my own business, right? And so it was just a hobby at the time though. And so it shifted me from being an employee to being an entrepreneur. And because I had nothing else to do, I had no other route to go. I had no way to bring in income. So I poured myself, my heart and my soul and my mind and my time and my energy and my effort into building this business because I knew that I would be able to build my own dreams that way. And so it was one of the, like, there was so much fear and I was so scared for such a brief moment of time, but it almost like took this little flame and threw gasoline on it, right? It like took this flame and threw gasoline. And I don't know about you, but when that's just how I work. Like if somebody tells me, here's another example. I was wakeboarding, you hold the rope behind the boat and you get pulled. I was wakeboarding with someone and they said, oh, I don't know if you'll be able to do it. I said, watch me. Right? The minute somebody says, or like tries to take something from me and says, oh, I'm going to watch her fall on her butt, right? Or, oh, I don't think you can do that. I'm like, watch me. I'll do it twice as good as you ever thought. You know what I mean? So when I face rejection like that, or when I face something in that circumstance, it almost just motivates me. It gives me this push. Like, again, there are different ways that people can process it. Some people can sit there and poor me, victim, but I've been a victim, right? Like, I've walked through being a victim and become a warrior and a survivor. So like, things of that nature are not going to make me a victim. I'm not a victim to it. Mm-hmm. Life is happening for me, not to me. So what can I learn? What can I do with this situation that will help me get to where I want to go?
Love that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, we got 10 minutes. Okay. Yep. Perfect. Good timing. Good timing. Yeah. All right.
Last two.
Here we go. So when you plug into personal development, when you plug in, what's your go-to?
What do you mean?
Like, yeah. Do you have like your favorite go-to? Is it podcasts? Is it books? What do you listen to?
Everything on YouTube. Right now, well, I go in and out, but it's kind of funny. You'll actually appreciate this. Joel Osteen is actually one of my favorite, which I don't know if you're a fan of his, but one of my favorite. So right now, Joel Osteen, Les Brown, and Tony Robbins.
I love them. Yes.
Yeah. And to tell you the truth, who I listen to is one of the main reasons for this platform. I get so inspired by these men in a way of like, we need more women doing these things. So I learn a lot from them. I take as much as I can and absorb, and then do my best to, regurgitate it from a female's perspective, my perspective, and, inspire and reach as many individuals as I can for a female voice. There's not enough female voices. I remember probably like 6 or 7 years ago, when I was really searching for inspirational women, when I was in the turmoil of a lot of the stuff I was dealing with, I one day Googled most inspirational speakers, and Google gave a whole list, with everyone's picture across the top, and scroll. And man. And I think it was like 22 in was the first woman. And then it was like 10 more dudes. And then finally women started to trickle in. And it's a lot different now. Now there is actually a few women that have actually, come up into the stage of that on Google. But that was big. That was big for me as far as knowing what I needed to do with my story in order to have a female voice on that stage, because there's just not enough. And we can't relate to the men. We can get inspired, we can get motivated, but the stories that a man has biologically is not the same stories that a woman has biologically. How we feel, how we think, how we see the world is different. And there needs to be a female voice out there. So I do predominantly follow men. Oprah, I freaking love Oprah. Barbara Cochran, real estate mogul from Shark Tank. Oh my God, I love her. But there's very few women, unfortunately. It's probably a fourth. And I predominantly listen to men. But that's what I'm listening to now. Like if you looked at my YouTube, that's who's on it now.
Love that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. My mindset was around like, where do you get your hope from? You know what I mean? You said something along the lines of human beings thrive on hope, or you know what I mean? So where is yours from? And so I know you plug into a lot of different people. And so I was curious as to where you're pulling yours from.
Yep. That was it.
Love it.
Moment. Last question.
Last one.
Last question. This I'm excited to ask you this question because you're so goal oriented. Okay. Once you reach a point where you are feeling well off, I know you're doing well, but once you reach a point where you are feeling well off financially, so like at a good, solid level, what big things do you have planned to give back to society?
Oh my gosh.
I feel like you have something. I feel like you have
so many.
Yeah.
I have a whole bank account dedicated just to giving. And I have automatic withdrawals that already come out of there for my church. And I give to other churches as well. I also give to a foundation called King's Ransom Foundation, which helps free children from the sex trade and helps provide clean water for third world countries. So that's a big one. I love being partnered with them. However, I do also have ministries that I am super, super excited to dive into. Some nonprofit ministries that I want to be giving back through time also. And one of them is fitness and faith-based. Jessie is part of a ministry already, 11th Element here in Florida. Where they bring a pastoral presence to the gym. So they provide a message and some prayer and then a free fitness class for anyone who wants to come. And so I've always had a sight set on doing something similar. I write down a lot of stuff, right? And so like back in the day, I wrote down Fit for Christ. And so something like that. But big on my heart is giving back to women and children, women who struggle with addiction, women who struggle, single moms, women who struggle financially. And so I do have like this big vision for my team is called the Better Builders. And the idea is we are forging a way to better by building God's kingdom. And so I have a team of leadership who I've talked with this about a few times, doing different like clothes drives and things of that nature to give back to women and children who are struggling and suffering when pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. So if we can just give them that little bit of hope that somebody cares enough to help them, then that's that. But big things coming. We've always got things. And then the most recent one is I have been so graciously given tools and resources to come from where I was as a broken, hopeless, woman in despair, that I was, coming off of drug addiction and alcoholism and just giving away my body to men who didn't deserve it. All of the things that I've done in my past, and walked through this journey using different tools, books, resources, individuals who just came to me and said, hey, I'd love to do this with you. Hey, I'd love to do this with you. Read this book together, whatever. And so I am going to be putting together a program, and whether it becomes weekend long, I have a vision for weekend long seminars where men and women can come, and there'll be parts where we work together. Jesse's being equipped as well through his own journey. And so where we come together in a big group to work towards healing, right? Ultimately, the healing is the key. And then we individually go off, and women work with women and men work with men and go through different pieces. And then, toward the end of the weekend, come back together and, experienced. I just want to make magical moments for people where they experience this supernatural healing that comes from this soul work. It's soul work. And so that is something. I just told you guys my secrets, but that's something that has been made clear to me in a vision that was given to me from the Lord. And, taking my experience and my journey, I believe that we're given life experiences, which give us knowledge. And then when we apply it and share it, it becomes wisdom. And so if I can share any kind of wisdom from what I've experienced with other individuals that will help them walk through whatever they're going through, then that's my ultimate goal.
100%. I knew it would be good.
Yeah, thank you.
I knew it would be good. The cool thing about this is now it's documented. So we'll be able to go back to this.
Yes, June 15th. I stated it to be a thing that's happening. So
threw it out there.
Here we go.
Now the magic begins. All right, lady. Well, I don't want to keep you too much. I know that you have things to do today. Thank you so much for joining me. Any other closing words?
Hey, I just hope that something you heard here reached your heart, and that if it did, you share this message with others on your page, wherever, so that other people can hear the same message and go out and just be love. Be love.
Exactly. I love that. Thank you so much for joining us here on Her Version. If you have an amazing story to share of struggle to triumph, be sure to reach out to me here or at herversion.life. I am your host, Sabrina Victoria, and I am so grateful to be here sharing a platform that allows people to share their truth in order to inspire and uplift others. Have an amazing day. Much love. Bye.